Once again, I am not sure what the heck is going on with the car industry these days, and today we're going to talk about Jaguar because they are having some issues when it comes to their identity. They don't know what they want to do moving forward, or I think maybe they do because they're going to release a car that is going to compete with the Tesla Cybertruck in the most expensive refrigerator on wheels on December 2nd. And we have some teaser images from that car, and it's such a sad sight to see what is going on with Jaguar right now. And they're complete rebranding as well with the new logo. I think they're even ditching the Jaguar, the pounces in the logo, and now we just have this soft, weird-looking font with some are uppercase letters and some are lower. It's such a mess. Like, what's going on here? They're losing everything that was, quintessentially British sports car. This has nothing to do with that anymore. That brand of Jaguar is completely dead if we move forward with this type of decisions that we have right here. So before we jump into Photoshop, I want to focus on the good parts of Jaguar in this video. Two of my favorite models, one recent model and one a little bit older model. To check those out in Photoshop and just let you know what I think about those designs. So before we do that, let's have a look at these articles. Two articles from Car Scoops letting you know what's going on with the Jaguar here. Before we continue, I'd like to take a minute to thank today's sponsor, 70mi. So I am currently looking to buy an old German sedan, potentially a 5 Series or an E-Class. And as you know, older cars, they don't come with a bunch of cameras, and that's something that I want for my own protection should I happen to be in an accident, for example. So 70mi was kind enough to send me their 4K Ultra HD dashcam with Sony Starvis technology called the A800S. So this one comes with both a front and a rear camera and something called Night Owl Vision for great footage even in low light situations when you're driving at night, for example. And the most important thing here for me is to be able to see the plates of the cars around you, and you can clearly see that that is not a problem here at all thanks to the 4K Ultra HD resolution. This camera, the A800S, also has 24-hour smart parking surveillance. It comes with built-in GPS with emergency recording, meaning if you were to get in an accident, the camera will sense that and then start to record. The install here in my Tesla Model 3, which I'm testing it in right now, was pretty straightforward. You simply plug in the power cord for the front camera in the 12-volt adapter and then connect the power cord for the rear camera into the side of the A800S and you are good to go. If you want to record while the car is off, you have this hardwire kit that you can use to install and plug in straight into the fuse box of the car. And that means that you have the camera being available to you through the remote app that you have on your phone while you're parked, for example, at a public parking and you want to make sure nothing happens to the car. The front cam has a 4K HDR resolution and the rear films in 1080p with a 130-degree field of view. There is also a 3-inch screen on the back of the camera to change the settings, or you can download the app to manage camera settings, and also that's where you download the videos from both the front and the rear camera to your phone should you need to do that. The A800S supports a loop recording, meaning it replaces the old video files with new ones when the storage is nearing capacity. And right now, 70mi is running a Black Friday Cyber Monday deal. Click the links down below in the description or in the pinned comment for a special offer. I think it's a great little camera that will give me peace of mind when I'm driving my old sedan in a few weeks. The camera resolution is great, especially when you download the footage and go full screen on the computer. That's when you really can appreciate the 4K resolution. So get one for yourself using the discount links below, and thanks to 70mi for sponsoring this video. So let's start with this one. So media outlets endured an hour of marketing waffle during which they were introduced to the company's bizarre new logo and branding. We have not been sniffing the white stuff, said the chief designer of Jaguar, even though you might think they maybe have. we say bizarre because the automaker's fresh logo is its name spelled out widely spaced type using a mix of upper and lowercase letters. At first glance, it looks like the G is the only uppercase letter, but the design chief said that also the J and the U are also uppercase letters in this logo. Like, I don't know what's going on. So as if Jaguar wasn't already inviting enough ridicule with this logo nonsense, it opened the door to more mockery by releasing a video on social media that could pass for a perfume ad. And I'm sure if you're into cars and you know what's going on in the industry, you've seen this ad already. And I don't know what to say about this ad. To me, Jaguar has nothing to do with what they showed in that ad. You don't even see a car in the ad. So you don't know what exactly it is. What are they selling here? You know, the colors, the vibe, there is nothing, you know, old school British about it. And if you look at the old ads, when they had these villain ads from about 10 years ago.
Oh, yes. It's good to be bad.
Those were so well made, and it makes the car look nice and cool. This, I have no idea I want to hear the thought behind the creative meetings that they had when they came up with this idea. What was the point of it? So the most bizarre automotive media launch I've ever attended, says some journalist that was on this launch, while Jag execs parroted the delete ordinary and live vivid phrases. Fantastic. So let's have a look at this concept car that's going to be unveiled on December 2nd in Miami, of all places. So Jaguar teases design vision concept, says bye-bye rear window, hello aircon vents. It's not really funny because it's so sad that Jaguar is heading this direction. So the electric GT concept will be unveiled in Miami on December 2nd, so about a week from now. Jaguar has released images of the first of 3 super luxurious EVs. It will launch before 2030. The teaser of the $130,000 luxury electric sedan shows it has no back window like the Polestar 4. So you're gonna drop a new Jaguar with this type of styling for $130,000, and on top of that is going to be a full EV. I could just say good luck, Jaguar. Good luck selling this car. So angular and unapologetically dramatic, the design offers a glimpse of what's to come ahead of its introduction early next month. Love it or hate it, I'm not sure if it's a love it or hate it in this case. Jaguar seems determined to make us pay attention. All we're given for now is a cropped view of the rear and the sides. The first thing you'll notice is the complete absence of a traditional rear window. Similar, as I said, to the Polestar 4, but the design drama doesn't stop there. The center section of the rear is filled with horizontal slats. Think window air conditioner vibes. It's weird to say those words when I talk about Jaguar, which is supposed to be this emotional, very beautiful piece of art on wheels. And I don't know if this is what we call art these days. So they say here that Jaguar is probably busy reinventing how cars fundamentally work and look, the design of them. So adding to the above, Jaguar released 2 more cryptic images today. These appear to show the retractable side trim piece featuring the new Leaper logo, which with what looks like a camera hidden behind it, and they describe the concept rear detail as a preview of its design vision, complete with bold forms and exuberant proportions. This study will serve as a foundation for Jaguar's newly christened design philosophy dubbed exuberant modernism. Very, very interesting. Here we can have a look at some of these photos here. It looks like it has nothing to do with Jaguar to me. You have static lines all over this place, sharp corners, angular vibes for the design overall. You can see this is probably the rear fender here. Jaguar is supposed to be smooth, organic, look like a Jaguar that is ready to pounce in side view. For example, the Jaguar XJ, which is one of my favorite sedans of all time, that has the proper Jaguar look to it. We're going to have a look at that specific car in a minute. Jaguar is about to undergo a radical reinvention as an ultra-luxurious EV-only brand. You have a long, low sedan that looks like a mashup of Porsche Taycan, the BMW i7, or the Chrysler 300. That is not a good company to be in if you want to be a Jaguar. So while the name is still under wraps, Car and Driver discovered the U.S. trademark application for I-Type. So that is probably what it's going to be called, which could be linked to the brand's first EV effort, the I-Pace. We can already see from the official spy photos that the new car has a squared-off nose and flat hood to give it a real presence, but don't expect it to see the grille when the camo comes off. Intel suggests Jaguar is determined to make a break with its recent design themes as it moves upmarket towards Bentley territory. So the images here show a short window and bulging rear fenders to emphasize the car's sporty character, but there is one aspect of the interior that we can't see, and that's the rear. I mean, the exterior. So Autocar reckons there's a good reason for that, and that's showing us the back end now would spoil the surprise on December when we'll discover the sedan has no rear window. The profile image shows a dramatically swept back windshield and huge area of sheet metal between the doors and the front. Now, looking at the proportions here, it looks pretty cool to me. I mean, this type of, with the beefy front, but is it Jaguar though? It looks a little too boxy for me. I want to see more curvatures in a big sedan from Jaguar like this. So far, Jag has only said that it will have more than 567 horsepower, capable of towing an excess of 430 miles, and cost more than $127,000. Now, Jaguar has promised two future further EVs, including at least one SUV, based on the same platform before the end of the decade. But the brand's EV revolution comes at a very awkward time now, and you have to wonder if there is a few suits at Gaydon getting cold feet and wondering if they made a mistake in killing off their entire lineup this year. And I can tell you, yes, they have made a mistake killing off their entire lineup and focusing on these luxurious, super expensive luxury EVs with this extremely weird design. I can tell you already, this is not going to be any sort of best sellers for Jaguar. Bentley has just pushed back its own EV only switch from 2030 to 2035 in face of a lack of demand for electric cars in the luxury sector. And Porsche recently revealed, good news here, it would build combustion versions of future cars that were originally conceived only as EVs. And I hope that goes for the Cayman as well. Just have a only EV Cayman is just a shame. It should be illegal. We need to have at least a 4-cylinder in there, preferably a 6-cylinder in the Cayman. So hopefully they bring that back as an internal combustion engine version. Very weird times now to be in when it comes to car design. I mean, everything is so strange. I am so confused. Like, what is going on? Why would they kill their own brand in this way? I mean, Jaguar to me is supposed to be, you know, when I think of Jaguar, it's supposed to be, I think of what Britain stands for when it comes to manufacturing, design, style, and class, and this. I actually prefer to have a Jag with some wood interior because it just feels right to have that in these type of vehicles. So let's have a look here. Two of my favorite, kind of recent, actually it's pretty old. Then we have the F-Type on the left side here. This is what Jag is supposed to be to me. Look at the side view of the XJ. Look how sleek it is. It looks almost like a E38 7 Series, but even sleeker than that. It sits so low, very stretched out, and this is what I'm talking about when I say it looks like a Jag that is ready to pounce even when it's just sitting still like this. It's a beautiful, beautiful design. Love the front end here. It looks like a cat as well. We have a nice shoulder line in the body going here, and then this line at the bottom with a very short greenhouse up top. Clear identifier in the front end with the graphics. Clear separation of the bumper here as well. And looking at the F-Type here, the pre-facelift, which is the one I definitely prefer because we had these headlights now sticking up in a more exotic way further back onto the front fender, and to me it just looks way better than the facelifted version. Then we have these beautiful lines in the hood, sculpted hood, organic lines all over this car, and we have this typical Jag grille in the front end with very clean graphics in the side as well. I do believe maybe this is the facelifted version of the old face. I'm not sure, but looking at the side view here, they say they want to redefine what cars look like, but beauty is never going to be redefined. Beauty, something that is beautiful, is always going to be beautiful. It's just as simple as that. And these proportions that we have here, this is typical Jaguar Sport two-door front engine sports car proportions. If you were to sketch a sports car with these type of specs, it would look like this. This is how I would sketch it out, with a very short rear end, long hood, and the greenhouse sitting almost in the middle of the car where the A-pillar starts, very far back. Looks absolutely beautiful, and then on top of that we have this beautiful line flow with the muscle over the rear axle and the front axle as well. Not a huge fan of these wheels, so definitely switch them out to these wheels down here. We talked about the XJ, and then you have such beauty such as the E-Type, the XK120, you have the XJS, and of course the classic Need for Speed entry-level model, the XKR, which is also a beautiful looking design. They have such great history, Jaguar, and it's just a shame to see what they're doing with their brand these days. So looking at the rear end here, love the taillights here. Jag to me has always, like they said in Top Gear, they said that you know, if you were a villain in a movie, the perfect car would be a Jaguar, probably an old sedan like the XJ. That would just suit the personality of a movie villain, in my opinion. And I think this just looks classy, but at the same time it has this ominous feel to it that I love about the old XJs, and how low it sits, dual exhaust in the rear, clear identity here, what it is. You clearly recognize this immediately as a Jaguar. Even though I do think, even though you don't really, you know, maybe are not into cars that much, but you can clearly tell that this is something special. And they've always made wheels great, specifically on the XK8 and the XKR with the big, I think they had 5-spoke wheels. They look like 23s on there, even back in 1998, just because of the simple design of the spokes. And I think they were probably the first brand that really nailed the wheel fitment from factory, in my opinion. Now, looking at the interiors here, I think the F-Type came out in 2015. Maybe 14 or 15, and this is as much technology as I would like in a car today. We have a nice little screen here, not too big, perfect size for me. We have analog tachometer, analog speedometer with a small little screen in the middle, perfectly laid out, and we have a housing for it as well, flat bottom steering wheel, and the physical beefy rugged dials for the climate control settings and the temp and the fan and all of that. But even going back further than that, so looking at the interior here of the XJ, this is classic Jag. You have this elliptical shape for the dash, which is all in wood, as you can see. We have this sticking up here, also typical Jag to have this piece going up here and cutting into this ellipse. Steering wheel looks beautiful as well, super classy with the wood up top. Wood gear selector here as well, and the wood continues then all the way down here. And this, if I had an XJ, I would not want to have it in any other material than this. I would prefer, and this is probably the only car that I would prefer to have some wood in, and also maybe Rolls-Royce would also feel natural to have some wood in. Beautiful looking interior. Now, the rebranding here, this is the new logo on the right side, and this is the old one. And like, I don't know, I don't have a lot to say about the logo change. It just feels completely wrong. It doesn't feel like the Jaguar that I am used to, you know, growing up with, and the cars that I love, that has this confidence to it when it comes to the design, and it also shows in the logo. This logo right here, these letters reminds me of the XJ220. It just, as soon as I see these letters, that's the car that pops up in my head. This one, can you imagine having this logo right here on the XJ220? I mean, I don't know. Again, I just want to hear. I want to hear the idea. Maybe they can make me understand the team, the creative team of Jaguar, what they want to do, what they're trying to accomplish here by changing the entire brand up like this in this drastic fashion. So let me know what you think about this. Do you think the Jaguar is heading in the right direction with these boxy, air-conditioned looking EVs for 130 grand, or do you think they maybe should dial that back a little bit and go back to the roots of what is, in fact, a British quintessential sports car and maybe focus a little bit more on that and look back in history and what beauties they've created in the past and try to recreate those in the future? Let me know in the comments below.